Okay. All right. Hello. It's a wonderful day.
Is different than the national anthem. So the Pledge of Allegiance, the student will come up and do the pledge. She's in the court, and then she will sit down, and then the singer will come.
And then the singer. Is she going to stay right there though? How are you?
The national anthem comes first.
No, that's after the pledge.
Yes, the Pledge of Allegiance, please stand. And the national anthem, they'll still be standing. Yeah, yeah.
She can stay on.
How are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I just left Ella. She's on some Zoom session.
Oh, she popped out already. She lives on it. Doing good? How you doing? Hey, how are you? Okay. Green's a green right now.
Good morning. When do I pick the board? Once we get ready to start. This is Bill's place. That was over.
I do. What's going on, Charlie? How you doing?
He's good.
I'll break my straw.
were able to move an event that we had planned for this afternoon to 9 in the morning. And so I'm so thankful that all of y'all were able to make it today to celebrate our very special guest. Today it's my pleasure to welcome you to Meridian Community College's Hall of Fame induction. My name is Leah Hill. I'm the Executive Director of the MCC Foundation, the Vice President for Institutional Advancement. And I would like to say how proud we are that all of you have joined us to honor some of our most prestigious alums and our most loyal employees. I would like to recognize a few guests today. We do have members of our Board of Trustees, a couple of our MCC Foundation Board of Directors, and some other officials, so thank you for making it out today. I know the weather's coming, it'll be here soon. It is important that we set aside each year, some time, to honor and reflect upon the people that have helped make MCC what it is. That is the purpose of today's event. This annual Homecoming Week celebration to honor revered members of the MCC Foundation. That includes outstanding professionals associated with Meridian Community College, either as educators or past students who have distinguished themselves in their chosen field. Members of our Talent Club, dedicated individuals who have devoted 30 years or more service to MCC, and our fallen eagles who have passed away within the year. Employees who we will remember for their influence and contribution to the college. Thank you again for coming today and being a part of the celebration. I do want to take just a moment and remind you that we also moved the Bill Skaggs building dedication to Monday, this Monday, the 29th. It's going to be at 10 a.m. and it's going to be outside in the Ivy Circle. It's supposed to be beautiful weather, so I hope you will make it to that event as well. So now I'm going to turn the program over to Mr. Joseph Knight, Vice President for Workforce Solutions.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's open up with a word of prayer this morning. Pray with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Even though outside it looks dreary and cloudy, Lord, we know today is a day full of grace and full of your mercy. And Lord, it's full of opportunity. And today we come together to honor many individuals. Lord, especially 4 individuals who are going into the Hall of Fame. Lord, for their contributions to this community, to this school. And Lord, others that have spent many years here. Lord, just pouring their life into this institution and into the students that they see every day. Father, for them, we are thankful for their commitment. We are thankful for their tenacity. We are thankful for their courage. We're thankful for, Lord, just them being there on a daily basis. And Lord, as we honor them today, we also want to, first and foremost, honor you. We thank you for loving us. We thank you for protecting us. And Lord, even though this day is gloomy and it has danger in it, we know that you are our protector. So Lord, we ask for your protection today for our students, for our campus, for our city, Lord, for our state. That if inclement weather does happen, Lord, that no one would receive pain. We may receive loss, Father, but we don't want anyone to be hurt. We so thank you. We put our trust in you. We ask all these things in your precious Son's name, Jesus. Amen. At this time, we're going to ask Miss Jemiah Smith to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and singing of the national anthem. Attention, salute, pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam?
Thank you, ma'am. How is everybody doing this morning? All right. It's good to know that everybody is, that's what I heard. Right. My name is Brandon Dewees. I'm the Director of Student Engagement here at MCC. And this is a little bit off paper, but I wouldn't skip this opportunity for anything. Y'all know that sitting over here this morning are some of our, I guess all of our Hall of Fame inductees. And on the end here is Coach Wanda Mcphail. You're going to hear people talk about her today, and I feel positive they're going to talk about her vigor in the classroom and how tough she was as a coach, but how you love her in the end, and, right? I just want everybody to know she was my third grade teacher, right? Third grade, and I love her, right? Congratulations, Coach. I want to introduce our homecoming court to you this morning. These young ladies have been chosen for their involvement here at MCC. They are dedicated to the institution, and they have a fantastic reputation with fellow students, with our faculty, and with our staff. So at this time, I'm going to call each of their names, and if they will, I'm going to ask them to stand. You can take down your mask, and we want to see you wave and smile very pretty. First of all, we want to recognize Miss Cali Callum. She's a freshman and is sponsored by the Lady Eagles basketball team. She's a university transfer student, and she is pursuing a degree in nursing. Congratulations, Cali. Next, we want to honor Miss Riley Marlow. Riley is a freshman, university transfer student, focusing on pre-med biology, and she is sponsored by the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. Thank you, Miss Riley. Not with us this morning is Miss Catherine Isabel Marshall. We call her Izza. I got a text from Izza this morning that she is in a science lab dissecting a pig, so she could not be here, right? She is a freshman. She is sponsored by the Ivy League recruiters. She's a university transfer student, and she is pursuing a degree in pre-med. Next, we want to recognize Miss Emily Williams. Emily is a freshman, university transfer student, pursuing a degree in secondary education. She's sponsored by the Phil Hardin Foundation Honors College. Thank you, Emily. We want to turn our attention to the other side of our stage this morning, and we're going to recognize our candidates for Homecoming Queen. First of all is Miss Datriana Shantay Johnson. Datriana is a sophomore in the Medical Office Management Technology program. She is sponsored by Phi Beta Lambda Business Organization. Congratulations, Datriana. Next, we want to honor Miss Morgan Marlow. Morgan is a sophomore, sponsored by the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. She's a university transfer student, focusing on a career in pharmacy. Congratulations, Morgan. We have already met briefly Miss Jemiah Smith. Jemiah is a sophomore university transfer student, pursuing a career in accounting. She is sponsored by the Phil Hardin Foundation Honors College. Congratulations, Jemiah. And last but certainly not least is Miss Ambria Waters. Ambria is a sophomore sponsored by the Lady Eagles basketball team. She's a university transfer student focusing on speech and language pathology. Congratulations. Our queen this week will be chosen by our student body, who are all voting through our system here called Canvas. The winner will be announced at the crowning ceremony Saturday. The weather is looking fantastic, by the way, for Saturday. We've all had our fingers crossed for that. At Skaggs Field, the first baseball game, starts at 2. We expect to crown a queen somewhere around 4:30. It depends on how the Eagles come along in that game. All right. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it.
When you work for one employer for years, at what point do they become family? Does it take a year? Does it take 3, 5? Does it sometimes happen in only a month? They just become family to you. Is kinship more than time? Is it more of a matter of mindset? Over 29 years here, I found family through employee friendships in just a few months, and I cherish those that aren't defined by time. They usually seem to develop out of similar values, goals, working as a team together. And as employees come and go, relationships change. Some stay strong even when the time was short. But those who strive through thick and thin, over hardships and challenges, who work tirelessly to keep moving forward, become a treasure of a different sort. Today we're celebrating the induction of someone into our Talent Club. So what is the Talent Club? The Talent Club recognizes individuals who've devoted a minimum of 30 years of service to MCC. 30 years, think about it. It's a long time. Today's average length of employment at any one company is 4.6 years. Dedication from our employees to the college and our mission is something that's highly valued here and critical to our success. Do we have any members of our Talent Club in the audience today, if you would stand? And I can't see but the right light. Okay. I'm honored to acknowledge our newest member today in MCC Talent Club, Soraya Weldon. Soraya, please join me up here. And I thank her for wearing flats. That was my only instruction today. I have to share with you the first time I met Soraya Weldon. It was several years before she was even a student here. I was an unsuspecting recent college graduate who was asked to teach a group of young girls Sunday school. And I walked in and one of them said, "My name is Soraya Baziari." And I said, "So what?" Soraya has a beautiful name and it fits her as a person, someone who's beautiful inside and out. And for the sake of time, I'll continue, but later I'll tell you to ask Soraya about her nickname from Dr. Huber. It is called Soraya Doris, just in case you think dinosaurs were extinct here. Ask her later. Soraya's been a part of Meridian Community College since 1985, when she was enrolled as a college freshman. And while a student here, she began working part-time in our bookstore. She received her Bachelor of Arts degrees and her Master of Business Administration degree from Mississippi State University. Upon graduation, while deciding what to do in life, she came back to work full-time at our bookstore. And when I asked Soraya about memorable moments, she replied, "My interview with Dr. Tommy McDonald while working in the bookstore." And I knew she was going to say that because it was the first thing that came to my mind. Let me preface this story with the fact that there are times in the college we hire employees on an emergency basis. We have a need, we need them now, and we can't wait 5 or 6 weeks for the advertisements, interviews to put them in place. And that's where we were in the summer of 1991. Tommy has a knack for finding talent, providing people with opportunities. He walked up to her in the bookstore and said, "What do you know about financial aid?" And she said, "Not much." He said, "You're hired. We need a student loan officer." And then he came to me to tell me he had found me a great student loan officer. And our intense learning experience began. She and I share a lot of fond memories in financial aid, and Soraya has always taken service to our students very seriously. And within 2 years, she was our new director of financial aid. In 2007, she was appointed as Dean of Students, and in 2018 was named Vice President for Operations. In this role, she provided leadership in working on policy revisions, the Complete to Compete initiative, and the new Student Government Association grant. As Dean of Students, she managed the daily operations of all student services, such as student housing, athletics, recruitment, admissions, financial aid, advising, security, and student organizations. Soraya coordinated the 2016 Office of Civil Rights Compliance Review conducted by the Mississippi Community College Board. She helped secure a Blue Cross Blue Shield grant for MCC, managing the reporting, the wellness initiatives, the budgeting required for that grant. Well, Ms. Soraya has served as president for the Mississippi Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators, and she has been an accreditation evaluator several times for the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. I asked Soraya what were some of her most memorable events while working for MCC. And here are some of the other answers that she gave me. Watching students walk across the stage and get a diploma, knowing you have helped them and encouraged them. As Dean of Students, knowing that every day was unpredictable. Watching her daughter and other college students play basketball with Jerry Rice. Facing Y2K in July of 2000 and working on the implementation of our banner system. Hearing presentations of our faculty who had won the Humanities Professor of the Year Award and realizing how impressive they are. The press conference announcing our tuition guarantee program. The opening of our Aquatic Student Life Center, realization of a dream by Student Services for years. I asked Soraya if she had advice for a new employee, and with wisdom, she told me these 3 things. Number 1, don't be afraid to ask questions. Number 2, get involved with committees, groups, and classes. Diversity committee, a wellness class, a fitness class, continuing to have these opportunities. Number 3, she said, learn outside the area of your job whenever you can. And her reason for that was priceless, because the more you know, the better you can serve a student. Soraya received several awards, including the John Johnson Award, the T.J. Harris Award, the PTK Distinguished Administrator Award, and was MCC Hall of Fame honoree in 2019. Soraya is the mother of 2 daughters, Reagan and Mackenzie. She retired this past January with 30 years devoted to Meridian Community College. Some people move on from MCC and they leave a void for those left behind who enjoyed working with them for years. Your contributions and support strengthen and encourage so many people for so long. You are family. We will miss you.
I don't really have a speech prepared, but I do appreciate Pam. Thank you for that. That was way more than I deserve, that's for sure. It's been a quick 3 months, but I certainly miss a lot of people here. I really do. And thank you very much for this. This is an honor. It is. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Good morning. During the week of homecoming, we always pause to remember the MCC family members we have lost during the past year. Please join me in honoring and remembering with a moment of reflection. Agnes Copeland Carter. Mark Chandler. Ray Ellen Gordon. Ray Hosley. Clay Hamilton. Bridget Horn. John Johnson. Dr. William F. Skaggs. Billy Earl Stubbs. Vivian Valentine. Luke Weddington Park. Thank you.
What an exciting time for us today to be able to be here and recognize our students, many of whom I think are going to be future Hall of Famers. They're going to make it big and they're going to remember their alma mater, and we're grateful for the opportunity to be a part of you and your lives, and are excited about the opportunities you have in the future. I don't know if you just noticed this, I just did that out of habit. I just keep my mask on my arm, and everybody always wants to know what that flap is that's on my clothing, but it means I don't have to put it in a pocket or anything, but if I need it, I can get to it quick. A Hall of Fame ceremony is something that is very, very special to an institution of any type, certainly one like ours. When we recognize the people who have contributed not only to this place, but also to the community we serve, to the big world, the folks who either learn things here in our classrooms and take those things that they've learned and they make it some very real, significant way, or those who have passed through our doors for other reasons and have had an impact here, but have had also an impact elsewhere. It's a great honor for an institution like Meridian Community College to be able to recognize its treasured people who are in our Hall of Fame. Thank you all for being here. I didn't know what to expect in terms of a crowd this morning, but this is probably better than what I was thinking it was going to be, so this is great. And we appreciate all of your flexibility in allowing us to change the time of this particular event. Weather decisions, Dr. Skaggs, are not the best decisions, are they? I always say, you earn your paycheck making weather decisions, is that right? Well, no further ado, let's get this thing started. Our first inductee is Mr. Neil Henry. Neil, if you'll just come up this way, I'm gonna read stuff about you, hand you a plaque. I've known this guy since I've been here, and it's a pleasure for me to. And by the way, this is exciting for me because I know all four of these people, and I've known them some of them for a number of years. So it's really exciting for me. A mentor, a coach, a scoutmaster, a king. Community efforts like Playground for Jesus at Wesley House, Camp Hoops for special needs athletes, Planet Playground, Parks and Recreation, Meridian Main Street, State Games, the Navy League, the list goes on. Neil Henry wears many hats as a volunteer for numerous organizations and causes. When he's not doing the above, he can be found at Citizens National Bank. A 20-year veteran in the banking industry, Neil serves as regional president. He's a graduate of the Advanced School of Commercial Lending at Vanderbilt and the Graduate School of Banking at LSU. Before earning a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration from Mississippi State, Neil attended and played basketball at the University of West Alabama, and before that, Meridian Community College, lettering all 3 of those years. Neil and his wife Amanda have been married 22 years and have 2 children, Anna Kate, 19, also an alum, and Parker, 17, crossing our fingers he'll be an alum. They are members of First Baptist Church, where Neil serves as a deacon and finance committee member. He's taught Sunday school, been a Royal Ambassador leader, and is actively involved with the youth program as a whole. I'm especially proud to claim Neil as an alumnus of MCC and know he personally holds his experiences here as valued. Neil, I just like sitting next to you at basketball games, going to lunch every once in a while, and talking about big things at MCC and in the city of Meridian. Appreciate you and your friendship. If I get the right plaque here, I'll be pleased. Yes. So congratulations, Neil Henry, member of the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Dr. Huebner. I might have to raise this up a little bit. Dr. Huebner, MCC faculty, family and friends, I'm grateful to be considered for this tremendous honor. And I want to congratulate my fellow 2021 Hall of Fame recipients. I've looked back at the previous inductees, and it's a tremendous honor just to be in the same sentence with these great leaders. MCC is special to me. Graduated Meridian High School, didn't have a true career path in mind, didn't have a major in mind, and then they extended me the offer to play basketball, so it was a win-win and a no-brainer for me as an 18-year-old kid. As I reflect back, I had some great times, some great memories here, established some really great relationships here. Largely, my best relationship is with my wife, as we spent a lot of time here on this campus many years ago. I'm forever grateful for my time at this college, and of course the Eagle's Nest, time spent there, probably too much time. MCC realigned me as a student, and I'm grateful for that. Challenged me to be successful. The teachers and administrators really cared. They made a difference, and the leadership really stood out. A few of these leaders, and this is just a few, were Barbara Jones, Dr. Tommy McDonald, Coach Fred Thompson, Billy Bill, Quinn Carlisle, Alice James, and Dr. Bill Skaggs. Each of these leaders held me accountable in so many ways, both good and bad, and they pushed me out of my comfort zone. They challenged me and helped me be the person I am today. Classes were never easy, and accountability was real, and it sticks out to me still today. And after a tough day in the classroom, and they were really, really tough, I can recall several of these leaders and teachers coming and supporting me and my teammates in the Graham Gymnasium and a basketball game. This helped me a lot to learn how to succeed in life. Along my side, and the absolute biggest fans of mine were my family. They were at every game cheering for me. They always pushed me to study and study more, and I probably should have. They wanted me to be a better student and not to settle. It took a little while, but it did eventually start to stick. When I did find some success, it became contagious to me and addictive to me, and I wanted to work harder for that success. And I'm grateful that that push translated into my career. I love and I'm very fortunate to live and work in my hometown. I also love working for a hometown bank. Working hard is something I've always seen in my mom and dad, and Citizens National Bank is similar to Meridian Community College. It's allowed me to spread my wings and fly to new heights, and I'm absolutely love being able to serve our customers and serve this great community. Looking at the college today, it's left with some great leadership, and I'm just thrilled with the current leadership that you have, and just a few that have impacted my life and my family's life are Deanna Smith, Chad Graham, Coach James Green, Coach Rodney Broughton, and Sandra Atkinson. All of these leaders lead by example, and all have impacted my life and my kids' life, as my daughter is a recent 2020 graduate and a Cape, while Coach Green and Coach Broughton have been a great resource and friend to my son Parker. All of these leaders and many more mean so much to me, and they love their community and they love their teachers, their students. Finally, the amazing impact and leadership that my friend Dr. Tom Huebner is providing this college reminds me a lot of Dr. Bill Skaggs. Dr. Bill Skaggs pushed education to the extreme. He loves seeing his student athletes succeed and work. I'm a pretty competitive person, and I learned a lot of winning and losing here at Meridian Community College, but I was able to learn a different level of how competitive he was, and it really helped me in my life. Dr. Huebner is wired the same way. I've seen both of them give the referees the business at a game, and I actually love that competitive characteristic. Dr. Huebner has his wheels spinning all the time, and he loves his MCC Eagles, but what a resource we have in our community from a business development aspect, as we all want to see Meridian and Lauderdale County a better place. Again, I'm thankful for this great opportunity, and I'm grateful for this honor. I'm grateful for my hometown community college and the experience it provided. Thank you to the MCC faculty, friends, and family for this honor. Thank you.
They're in alphabetical order, so I have to do that ABC song in my head real quick. The next honoree is someone whose name has been mentioned already. And I think it's significant because she's had an impact on the lives of so many, not just here at the college, but all over our community. To hear that story, I'm not sure I knew that, Brandon. Some spent an entire lifetime creating a legacy. Wanda Mcphail managed to leave 2 legacies. Her contributions in the field of tennis are legendary, but her heart was in her devotion to rearing her children and now grandchildren. This exceptional educator has more titles and awards than can be properly noted here, but I'll make an attempt. She's been named to the Hall of Fame at East Central Junior College, East Central Community College, MJCC Sports Hall of Fame, and the National Junior College Athletic Association National Women Tennis Coaches Association Hall of Fame. She's been named Mississippi Tennis Association Coach of the Year, ITA, NJCA Wilson Coach of the Year for 3 years, Region 23 Men's Tennis Coach of the Year, Region 23 Women's Tennis Coach of the Year 11 times, MACJC State Coach of the Year, the men's coach 7 years, the women's coach 7 years, and the MAC Coach of the Year, men's 5 times, women's 6. She was awarded the prestigious Herschel Stevens National Men's Coaches Association Award for Outstanding Service and Dedication to Men's Tennis. We're proud to boast that most of Wanda's awards were garnered while she was here at Meridian Community College. In addition to coaching, she taught English and wellness classes. For those in the coaching business, you understand the obligation taken when you agree to guide, coach, and mentor young adults. It's all-encompassing. Wanda did all of this while nurturing a marriage of 47 years to her husband, Mark. She's a lay leader and adult Sunday school teacher at Collinsville United Methodist Church. As you may know, we're in the process of creating an opportunity for people to support the institution in the creation of a new tennis complex. And when we started this conversation, we decided the best thing to do would bring Ms. Wanda in and just kind of chit-chat with her about it. And she said, you know, we can contact all the tennis alum. And I said, do you know all the tennis alum? She said, well, I know all of them. I know where they all are. All of them? Yes. Except for maybe 4. And I thought to myself, that is an impact that we cannot even fathom. Someone who, when the student walks through, the athlete walks through, they're just not there for that day and gone tomorrow. They become a part of your life forever. Miss Wanda, there is no one like you, and we love you, and I'm so glad to be able to name you to our Hall of Fame.
Stepstool today. You've seen my feet. Thank you for that introduction, Dr. Huebner. You know, I'm always blown away when the coaching history that I had at MCC is read. I am in constant surprise and wonder how I got so lucky. But all I was, all I am, and all I hope to be, I owe to my Creator. He has guided me every step of the way, and I believe He placed me at MCC, and I am a better person for having served here. I am so honored and grateful to be inducted into the MCC Hall of Fame today. I know that I have been inducted into some others, but this one is especially sweet. I feel that I am very fortunate to be a part of this class of inductees. I'm not sure that they even know it, but my life has at some juncture been intertwined with all 3 of the other candidates, from my childhood growing up in Union, Mississippi, where Neil's family is from, to Michelle and Reggie early in my life. They are all such successful civic and community leaders. In 2000, our last child graduated from West Lauderdale. Dr. Scott Elliott and Claudia came into our lives when they began attending our church, Collinsville Methodist Church. And one Sunday after church in the fall of 2000, Dr. Elliott approached me and told me he wanted me to come talk to him and Dr. McDonald about the vacancy that they had in a tennis coaching position at the college. I quickly told him that I was very happy at West Lauderdale and that I was not looking to make a move. Dr. Elliott continued to urge me to at least come and talk to him about the position. I did not realize myself that I was at a crossroads in my career, but I was. Mark and I were about to have an empty nest, and I needed a challenge. After much prayer, I felt that I was being led to come here. And so I first and foremost have to thank Dr. Elliott for believing in me when I was not so sure of myself. I finally accepted the position and told Scott that I would work hard to get the program back on its feet, but that I would probably only stay a year, and at the most 2. 18 years later, I retired from coaching and teaching here at Meridian Community College, and it was the best decision I ever made and the best occupation I've ever had other than motherhood. My inaugural year here should have sent me in another direction. I took on a heavy load, and coaches, you know how this is. I taught 3 basic English classes, 2 tennis classes, and coached and parented 2 tennis teams. Of course, I had done much the same thing at West Lauderdale. There were many adjustments to be made on my part, and I could not have survived without 2 very important women in my life, Michelle Smith and Barbara Jones. They became more than bosses, they became my friends. Michelle was the AD at the time, and she took me by the hand and taught me the ropes. She was a confident leader, a great listener, and truly knowledgeable. She was most helpful in teaching me all the paperwork associated with the job and the things that I needed to do off the court so that I could keep my job. And Barbara, well, I think I found a kindred spirit. She encouraged me so much that first year, was understanding of the time constraints in regard to coaching and teaching. She is just brilliant. She's strong-willed and determined like me, but she is a problem solver and so admired by me. There were so many others that touched my life, and I am forever grateful. Annie Burns, Cedric Bradley, Soraya Weldon, Barbara Bishop, Brandy Pickett, Sandra Atkinson, Terry Williams, Tony, you all know Tony, Tanya Crenshaw, Clara Munn, and so many others from the faculty to the staff. Any success that I had here was due to the flexibility that I was given in recruiting, coaching the players, support staff, and discipline. This allowed me to develop a program that garnered national recognition for MCC tennis. My first year was tough, as I did not start the position until the fall of 2000, and it was an ugly year in the win-loss column. And if you know me at all, you know that I am so competitive, I hate losing, I never let my children win at checkers. And so it was really a tough year. But my players worked hard, and one of my favorite memories is that second year, and I want to share that with you. I know you're all got places to go, but you know, I had recruited some of my own players by then, and I had, I called them the Quitman Flashes. But I had two little boys from Quitman, and one of them had come and asked me, could he play, and he had on cut-off blue jeans, I call them white beaters, I don't know, you know, I'm old, and some other kind of shoes, and he had come with the other little Quitman Flash and wanted to play. And I said, young man, there is no way you dress like that to come ask me if you could play. And he said, I'm good, I promise, I worked so hard. Well, anyway, he ended up playing, and you know, we worked so hard that year. We had no international players where several of our opponents did here in the state. But we won the Region 23 that year and went to the national tournament, and those guys were as pumped as any team that I ever took to nationals. At the end of the first day, believe it or not, we were in first place at the national tournament because the big dogs had not played yet. And all of my guys said, Coach, call the Meridian Star, tell them we're all Americans and that we're in first place. I did not do that. You know, I can relate 1,000 stories from each year, some that made me cry in private, funny stories, not so happy coach stories, but I believe that every player that came into my life because they needed me or I needed them to teach me a life lesson. I have to say there's a third group that I still have to ask. Really, God, why me? And I am thankful to all my former players, as each one was and is truly family to me. And I have to say at this time, I have a player who came this morning, even after it was changed. Marlon Anderson, he's over here with my family, and he played from 2003 to 2005. And you know, he's just a wonderful guy, and this just tells you just the kind of relationships that you build with your players. You know, it takes a village. MCC faculty and staff deserve kudos for all that they do to ensure the success of all of our students. MCC tennis could not have thrived without the support of each and every one of these. You know, I could tell you so many stories where teachers go above and beyond instructors do to help every student, but for me, you know, my athletes. I can remember one time I had one struggling, and Suzanne Gibson came to my office after her hours and tutored that child for an hour or so. And then Valerie Bishop, I don't know if she's here, but she let two of my players make up a layup. Now I told her to give them a 0 because they are told, you know, to go and let her know, and they had not. She said, they're freshmen, I'll give them another chance. So anyway, just wonderful faculty. The supporting departments here go above and beyond. The physical plant, housing, admissions, student services, housekeeping, financial aid, cafeteria staff, publications. They deserve so much respect for the fine-tuned operation that they help this institution be. And I love them all. Everyone were so kind and helpful and made our program a success. I would love to thank the MCC Board of Trustees for their support over those 18 years and their continued support. The Foundation Office, the Business Office, and so many others. Thank you to the Nomination and Selection Committee for your efforts in putting together this wonderful event. Dr. Huber, thank you for continuing to support the tennis program. My hopes someday are for someone to say, Wanda who? And, I think the tennis program is in great hands with Coach T.J. Porter, who I think I saw come in today, who was one of my former players and is now coaching. And lastly, I would like to thank my family. Some of them are here today, even in this nasty weather. And is it okay if I ask them to stand?
Yes, absolutely.
Family. My children all work very hard and have large families. I have 10 grandchildren, so they could not be here today, but they have always been so supportive of my work. And I saved the best for last. I never could have had the success I have had without the support of my husband of nearly 48 years. Mark has always been my rock, my sounding board, sorry Mark, my calm in any storm, my voice of reason. He is kind of like E.F. Hutton around our house. When he speaks, we listen. And, he just, I don't know, he got woke up so many nights in the middle of the night. I can remember one night I got a call and I was told, unashamedly, that I had a player in jail. And I said, well, I'm not going to get him. And, it was underage drinking. And my husband said, Wanda, that boy is 1,000 miles away from his mother. You've got to go down there. And I said, well, I'd leave one of my own down there. And so finally he coerced me to go, and it was not pretty that night. I think it was like 28 degrees, and I think I made him run 3 miles in rain. But I didn't have any other problem with him. But anyway, those are the kinds of things that, Mark has to do, just like any spouse of any coach. When it's a woman's coach, the spouse's job is not any different. Lots of lonely nights, lots of banana sandwiches. I made him even one night come down to the dorm to do a room check because I thought the guys might be breaking up the dormitory room. And he did not want to come because he said he did not want me to hear me yell at them. So anyway, but in closing, I just want to thank all of you. I want to thank MCC. It was such an honor to be a part of this great institution for 18 years. I am so lucky to have spent time with so many amazing people. I bleed green and white. Thank you so much for the memories and for this honor. I know that under Dr. Huber's leadership and so many wonderful employees that MCC will continue to strive for excellence. And I have to end with this shout out to all of my players, so you all excuse me. Call, call.
Man, if you're not inspired after these comments, I don't know what to tell you. Well, the next inductee is someone that it just seems like I've gotten to know since I've been here, because the support that she and her husband have for this institution is overwhelming. It's inspiring. It doesn't matter whether it's a fine arts event or an athletic event or just some other kind of event on campus. You can expect to see the Smiths there. They're the ones who I give words of encouragement. When I had my heart attack, they shared with me CDs of music that were just absolutely wonderful. Just the people who are always pushing and encouraging in positive ways. And when you think of the sweet spirit of the people who are here at MCC, people like you, Michelle, come to mind. So our next honoree is Michelle Smith, a servant leader throughout her teaching career and continuing through retirement. Michelle Maida Smith is our next inductee. Michelle began her association with Meridian Community College in 1993 when Dr. Bill Skaggs broke convention and hired a female, Michelle, to hold the position of athletic director at MCC. In addition to being an athletic director, she also assumed the duties of fitness center director, division chair, and instructor. And of course, she handled all those responsibilities with flying colors. Her teaching career spans 45 years, beginning in Victoria, Australia. She holds a bachelor's and master's degree in physical education from the University of North Texas. With a minor in education, Michelle assumed classroom duties teaching English as well as physical education. What an honor it is to induct you into our Hall of Fame, Michelle.
Thank you, Dr. Huber. I have a connection to everyone on this stage. Bill was in his second year at MCC. When I became athletic director, I only got to see him play 1 year. Dr. Skaggs was my boss, my dean of students, and he and I have quite a few stories we could tell. From, do I dare say dumpster diving? Long story, dealt with a radar gun from baseball, but it was eventually found, and some other fun stories. But he had my back with almost everything I did. And Wanda Mcphail, she and I go way back. I believe you were on the Lauderdale County School Board, and I was teaching her children. She came one day, it was very cold, but I believe that cold doesn't make kids sick. And I took all my PE classes out. And did you come and say, wait, my son or something was out there without a coat? And I believe I said, well, you should have given him a coat to wear or something. She could tell it better than me. And then it dawned on me, she's on the Lauderdale County School Board and I'm West Lauderdale. So, but we kind of see eye to eye on a lot of things, and she's become a dear friend to me since then. It's indeed a special day, but truly, and I know people always say this, but it's not about me. It's about all the people who've been and continue to be in my life. Seeing so many faces is wonderful. I don't see you now because of the lights, but I saw you when you came in. And it's just really wonderful. I'm going to be maybe a little bit longer because the only family I truly have as far as relatives is, well, is my spouse, is Carrie Smith. So everyone else in my family is watching virtually, so I'm going to give them a shout out. In Texas, my two older sisters, Diane Lawson and Karen Maiden, they are both great cooks and open their home all the time to people. We learned that from our mother. And they also put up with me and my shenanigans when I was very young. I got into trouble a lot for some reason. And my nephews in Texas, Scott Lawson, Stephen Lawson, and Stephen's family, Stephanie, their two kids, Brandon and Caden. In Georgia, my nephew Carson Huffstetler. In North Carolina, our daughter Kristen Hoots and her daughters Anna Kendall and Madeline Hoots. They are beautiful, wonderful girls, and we're so proud of them. My sister-in-law Wanda Clark and her husband Jerry, their daughter Ashley Clark and son Christopher Clark, his wife Tracy, and their two daughters Haley and Addie. And I have some special girlfriends in Texas. We affectionately call ourselves the Unit. There's a story behind that. Deals with 6 girls from Texas in an elevator in Las Vegas. If you want to know the story, I'll tell you sometime later. But we call ourselves the Unit. And those girls, some of us have known each other over 60 years. We still get together twice a year when it's not COVID restrictions and do things together. So hello to Karen Heron, Kathy Heron, Debbie Moore, Celia Reeder, and Rhonda Wyndham. So I'm going to try to be a little briefer, but here I am, a girl from Italy, Texas. And I'm the daughter of a migrant. My father was 1 year old when he came from Soverato, Italy, with his mother. My grandfather had already come to the United States to establish citizenship, and he sent for his wife and son. And my father had his first birthday on the boat coming over. They came through Ellis Island and went through all the processes and became loving people who loved the United States. My father joined the Marines, was decorated, unfortunately was wounded, and was 100% disabled. He met my mother after he was wounded. And she was a very strong woman, Clara May, good Southern name, and she helped Dad quite a bit. You know, he had a lot to go through, and as children, we saw both sides of what war can do. And I don't want to bring everybody down with it, but it's just a thank you to the veterans and all the families that support them all these years. You have to be very strong. And for that, I think because my mother was so strong, all three of us daughters are pretty strong women. So that helped us a lot. I went to the University of North Texas, got involved in a lot of things, service organizations, thought I was going to go into biology and ended up in physical education. Really loved it and found that I thought we could reach kids through movement and for them having joy in their movement. And so it was just a wonderful job. And I just remember all the little kids I had with parachutes and all these wonderful things we did. And I also wonder about the kids I might not have reached to show them that movement can be joy. And so I hope that anyone who teaches young children today still helps them find that joy. When I was at North Texas, I saw an advertisement to teach in Australia. And being kind of a different sort of out-of-the-mode woman, I said, well, that sounds good. So I applied, sold everything I had to get enough money they would let me into the country. And there I was on a plane headed towards Melbourne, thinking I was going to teach English. And when I got there, they said, you're going to be a sports mistress. And I thought, how do I tell my parents that? You know, what? And they said, well, you have a sports master and a sports mistress. And you're in charge of all the activities for the females. But then the male sports master quit, and so I took over for all of that at Louisdale. And it was a wonderful experience. Came back, working a job to get my master's as well, and went into a store where I was going to purchase a gift for someone else, and there was a gentleman there working behind the counter. His name was Kerry Smith, and he said, hello. And I went, whoa. You know, I don't know, just something about it. And so we dated a little bit, and I realized very soon that I had found the love of my life. I was more Waylon, Willie and the Boys, and he was Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, and heaven knows what else. Even jazz, you know, I never listened to jazz. And so we got married. 3 days later, we moved here. So it was quite an experience. And with that came appreciation of music. I even played right over there. I played bass drum, triangle, percussion, not well, but Carrie needed me, so I did. I did play piano in church growing up, so I could read music, which helped. So I went for an interview in 1993. I had been teaching at West Lauderdale. I taught special education for 6.5 years, and I managed to be able to teach elementary physical education for 7 years. And someone said, why don't you apply for this job at MCC? And I said, well, I think I'll apply. I'll probably be the token female, and then they'll hire a guy. Now, I know that sounds kind of feminist, but if you'd grown up in the decade that I had, it was not unusual. And yet, there I was, interviewed by the suits, as I call them. Three people. It was Dr. McDonald, Dr. Skaggs, and Dr. Roberts. And I know Carrie probably don't want me to say this, but they asked me, what is one of your goals if you get to teach at MCC? Oh, I can't believe I said this. I said, I'd like to make more money than my husband. Does that tell you the type of person I kind of am? Either you like me or you don't. You know, it's one of those things. It was a struggle, you know, learning everything at MCC. I got to run the pool, which I'd never done before, and that was interesting. Carrie was there with me with duct tape, a piece of cardboard, I can't remember what else. We were trying to save the pool. It had sprung a leak around the filter, and it was midnight, you know, so he was there for me. My position changed. I did manage to change different things that I did at MCC. I now teach water aerobics, or I will be teaching again this summer, and I have met some wonderful swim people, my swim ladies and friends that now have become just dear friends with me. I want to thank a couple of people. A very special friend, Miss Wilhelmine Damon, who is here today. Miss Damon, I don't know where you are. But at the back. Miss Damon was my first friend in Meridian. She was teaching aerobics in the basement of Ivy below the gym. I don't know if many of you remember that. There were some mirrors, and She had a whole group, and she welcomed me in. We were there for an interview, and she's been an inspiration to me, as so many people in our community. If you know Wilhelmine, you know she has a good word, a smile, and words of encouragement. Another person, Dr. Bill Skaggs. He influenced me in so many ways. He had a way about him that seemed to bring out the best in me, and sometimes I irritated him, and he would tell me. If he called and said, "Coach Smith," I knew something had happened in athletics, and we had to go over there. But his belief in me that I could do what was a traditionally man's job made all the difference. And I got to work with Wanda Mcphail, who coached men and women's tennis, and Coach Lou Hart, who coached men's golf. So we were an unusual trio at that point in time in our life. I was able to travel with Dr. Skaggs to athletic events and would get to know him even better. It's a privilege to call him my friend, as well as Sally. They're lifelong friends. Another mentor and friend that I want to recognize is Dr. Kathy Baxter, and Dr. Baxter is on the front row right down here. She helped me in so many ways when I came to MCC full-time. I could ask her for help with any problem or project. She's so willing to offer her advice. Dr. Baxter had my back, and I treasure our friendship, Dr. Baxter. The other teachers, I could name so many, but through the years, Barbara Bishop, Wade Hagee, Laura Lewis, Brandy Pickett, Kate Johnson, and Kathy Scott. So many coaches, oh gosh, I'd leave them out. Coach Mcphail, Coach Carkey Palmer was the first baseball coach. I had Coach Robert Akins as my softball coach, and the list goes on and on. I do treasure them as my friend. I never really have fit the mold that was assumed to a young woman from such a small town. I worked as a security guard at DFW in Love Field. I was a teacher, a waitress, a coach, and I traveled to Australia by myself with no money and no place to live, but managed to get by. When I first went to my Region 23 Athletic Directors meeting, I was welcomed. They couldn't figure out who I was, but they were very nice, and I loved every minute of it. In closing, there's one more person I want to thank. That is my husband, Kerry Smith. He has enriched my life in so many ways. He's been with me through family tragedies, my heart attack, several other medical events. When I was having my heart attack, he said, what do you want me to do? I said, go put on some long pants. I always wanted to event manage everything. He had on shorts and tennis shoes. I said, no, you can't go to the hospital in shorts. I don't know. So, I always want to manage things. I'm trying to get better at that. Thank you, sweetie. When I was gone so much with the teams, he never complained. I don't know a lot of men who'd say to their wife, yeah, go on off with that baseball team for 15 days. You know, bunch of men, bunch of boys, you know, just go, have fun, do a good job, and represent MCC. He said, just don't work too hard. Kerry has given such great music to our community and college. He's my best friend, he's my confidant, and he has put up with a kind of a unusual female for, is it 40 years? Yep, 40 years we've been married. So thank you, Kerry, and thank you to everybody who's made my time at MCC such a wonderful experience. I do appreciate it.
I came to Mississippi from the Alabama Community College system, where I had been for a number of years. Early in my tenure, and I don't exactly remember when, I was invited to some meeting that was in Mississippi, we say Jackson. In Alabama, we just say Montgomery. So I was invited to some meeting in Montgomery, and when I was there, it was mostly just presidents. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, I get to be around a lot of presidents. And when I did, I realized that most of them didn't hardly say anything to me. But there was one guy who I remember sitting next to him at a banquet that night, and he was just friendly, and I felt like, well, he's just a regular old guy. And that was Dr. Reggie Sykes. Dr. Sykes has been someone who is a highly regarded colleague, a president in Alabama. So when I got here to MCC and I started making connections, I was like, oh, this is where Reggie Sykes grew up. And then at some point I met his sweet mother. We had just played Bishop State in basketball, and I think we won. And then I saw her in the hallway, and I said, "Are you happy we won?" And she said, "Well, I don't know about that." So that was a treasured memory. If there's a ladder to success, Reggie Skaggs has found it. From classroom instructor to community college president, Reggie's career is the perfect example of setting a goal and working hard to make it happen. A native of Meridian, Reggie earned a bachelor's and master's degree in education from Jackson State University and a doctorate of education in school administration from Mississippi State. After 3 years teaching in Texas, he came home to Mississippi, and for the next 26 years, in teaching and administrative roles from high school to universities. He served his hometown as principal at Southeast Lauderdale Middle School and worked at MSU Meridian and spent 7 years here at Meridian Community College, where he was the Dean of Students under the tutelage of Dr. Bill Skaggs. He also served as Dean of Students and Vice President at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College and as Assistant Commissioner for Community and Junior College Relations with the Mississippi Institutions of Higher Learning, before being named President of Alabama Southern Community College. In 2019, Dr. Skaggs was named President of Bishop State Community College in Mobile. His people absolutely love him. They honor him, and they are his best fans, which says a lot about the man and says a lot about his character. I'm so pleased to be able to recognize Dr. Reggie Skaggs as our last member of this class.
Thank you, Dr. Huebner. Meridian Community College and the Meridian Community College Foundation. Thank you for selecting me to become a member of the Meridian Community College Hall of Fame. And it's truly an honor. Now, looking at the agenda, I see that I'm the last person between the alma mater. So I'm going to be short. I'm not going to be like a person, what a person did a couple years ago. We had our athletic Hall of Fame banquet. She was the last person. And, you know, I thought that she was going to make her speech short. And I looked at my watch. She had been talking for 20 minutes. And she continued on another 5 minutes. And by this time, her family members in the back. Sit down, sit down. And she did this back to them. Give me my time. So I'm not going to do that because I don't want my mother doing that to me. I want to say thank you to the inductees as well. I remember Neil when Neil was a student. Thank you for your support of the college and your service here in the community. And I've known Wanda for a long time. She coached my sister at K. Griffin Junior High School in basketball. And Michelle's my friend. We started here at MCC together, and we spent a lot of time together. I mean, evenings and weekends, attending all the athletic events on campus. So I'm pretty sure that I spent more time with Michelle than Carrie did during that time. And I also want to recognize and say thank you to Soraya. You know, I was young when I started here, but Soraya was even younger. But one thing I will remember about her, I was vice president of the Gulfport campus of Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, and this was right after Katrina. And I needed help in financial aid. And so I called here and I said, Soraya, I need some help. I said, do you mind coming down to Gulfport and spend a little time to help me get my office back together? And sure, she said sure. She came and she spent a week in Gulfport, and that's something I won't ever forget, Soraya. You know, you never dreamed of becoming a college president. And to get to where I am today, there are a lot of people who supported me and mentored me, and I have to start with my family. my mother. She has always been my biggest supporter. We talk every day now on my route home from work. And the first thing she would ask, well, how's your day? The second thing she would ask, we have a capital campaign on the way at Bishop State. Did you raise any money today? Did you get any money today? Some days I would say yes, and some days I would say no. And she said, well, you need to work a little harder. My two sisters, I wish they were here, Kay and Barbara. I think they're watching. They have been tremendous supporters as well. And then also my dad, Coach QB Sykes. I know he's looking down with a big smile on his face, and he's very proud. During my career, many individuals were responsible for mentoring and supporting me during my career. And I could not be where I am today without them, and you name the places where I have worked. I won't name them again. But there's so many individuals who reached out to me and supported me and mentored me. And I see C.D. Smith there. He supported me and mentored me while I was here at MCC and also now at the Mississippi Institutions of Higher Learning. One place, this is my second presidency. And my first presidency was at Alabama Southern Community College in Monroe. And there's something about Alabama Southern that I won't ever forget. And one day, Dr. Bill Skaggs called me in his office, and he said, we need to make a change with personnel of the basketball program. And so I asked him, I said, well, when, Dr. Skaggs? He said, today. I said, today? We had a game that night. So I did what he asked me to do, and I said, well, who's going to coach the game tonight? And he looked at me and said, didn't you coach basketball? I said, yes, sir, I did. And he said, well, you go with the team. So I didn't say anything. Dr. McDonald looked at me and he smiled and he didn't say anything. So I went back to my office and I pondered, I said, well, what am I going to do? I might as well get ready to travel with the team to Monroe. Then I had this brilliant idea. Jim Redgate had retired, long-time basketball coach. And at this time, he was I guess, part-time instructor teaching swimming. So I go into the swimming pool. I said, Coach Redgate, what do you have going on tonight? He said, I don't have anything going on tonight. I said, well, how about going to Monroe with me tonight? I'm going to allow you to coach. I mean, his eyes lit up. He got so excited. I said, would you like to go? He said, yes, I would love to go. So we got on the bus. He had the players surrounded. And they were looking at the X's and O's the entire trip to Monroe. And I think at that time, Alabama Southern was ranked nationally. And we ended up losing to them in overtime. And I think that was something that he really, really enjoyed. Now, I did not mention this to Dr. Skaggs at all. But when I returned, the next morning, I got a phone call. He said, I just want to let you know that that's good leadership. That's good leadership. And you learn how to get other people to help. You learn how to delegate. So that's one thing that I always think about when I think of Alabama Southern Community College. Dr. Bill Skaggs had a vision, and it's only now that I realize what his vision was back then. His vision back then was to improve student services and to improve the services for students on campus. And his vision was to have more students living on campus. He wanted to improve student activities, and he wanted to improve athletics. So what he did, he decided to go ahead and build apartments. He renovated this building to create a more home-like atmosphere for students. And before retiring, he decided that he wanted to go out in winter. So we started soccer. We started soccer and we started track. He went out and found the best coaches that he could find. And he had those coaches to go out and recruit the best athletes that he could find. And he went out and won them. We went to national championships, regional championships, had a chance to go to Colorado with Michelle. A couple of the student athletes were All-Americans, and I think 2 of the basketball players, they ended up playing in the NBA. But that was his vision. And now I realize that was his vision. But Dr. Skaggs recruited me twice. The first time he called me about the Dean of Students job, I was at Southeast Middle School as principal. And he said, well, I need an evening dean. And I thought about it. I said, well, do I really want to be here every night? So I said, well, Dr. Skaggs, I really appreciate that, but maybe not this time. Well, a couple of years later, he called me again. He said, well, how about Dean of Students? I said, well, I like that, but I did not realize that I was still end up being the evening because with so many people on campus now, we had the apartments and we had students here from all over the world. I dreaded Friday nights. Because as Dean of Students, that was my job to take care of them. I would get phone calls 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, going to the apartments, or going to the dormitory, or going to some club out in Lauderdale County. So I ended up being the dean, the evening dean anyway. Monday mornings, I had a line from my office out into the hallway dealing with things that happened that evening. But it was those experiences that led me to where I am today. I often think about while I'm at Bishop State Community College, the great things that we are doing there. Where would I be if Dr. Skaggs had not offered me the job as Dean of Students? He saw something in me that I did not see in myself. And I can honestly say that I am here today because he gave me a chance. He was my supporter. He mentored me. Because coming here from the K-12 system, I did not know anything about the mission of the community colleges. And there are so many people here at MCC who helped me along the way. And Dr. Baxter is number 1, Dr. McDonald, and so many others. And so I am thankful, Dr. Hewitt, that you all selected me to be a part of the MCC Hall of Fame. And this is a place that Dr. Skaggs truly loves. And I just want to say thank you.
Enjoyed the words of every single one of them. Just the reminiscing and the stories, I don't know about you, but it just causes me to absolutely believe in the importance of this place and the lives of individuals, the lives of our students, and in this community. And thank you all of you for the lives you've led and for the examples you are and have been. And we appreciate that you are here today and that you are part of our Hall of Fame. So thank you. And then I can't go any farther without saying something about the person on the end over there. When she announced she was retiring, I was like, "You don't look 65." And she didn't think that was very funny. But she was in the office next to me when I got here, and she became Vice President of Operations. And she is someone that we treasure and that this institution, I think every one of them referenced you, Soraya. because you've been important to a lot of people, and so we miss you like crazy, and you're really important. You're really important to us, and you're really too young to retire. I don't know what this is all about. And I will tell you this, that we were sitting around in a room talking at like a birthday celebration, and we were talking about our middle names, and she said her middle name was Doris, and I went, Soraya Doris. It sounds like a dinosaur. So the joke then became, be careful, Soraya Doris is coming down the hall. So. But we sure thank you all for being here. And to conclude this ceremony, I'd like for you all to stand, and I'm going to ask Shakidria Griffin to come and share the alma mater.
And as you know, it takes a lot of people to pull off an event like this. It takes even more to change it and do something totally different in just a couple hours. And I'm not going to name names because that's going to get me in trouble, but you know who you are, and I can't thank you enough for all your hard work to make this a great event for the college. So thank you. And then lastly, I just want to remind you, so Saturday, we're going to have our first ever Alumni Association gathering. It's going to be in the Quake Center. It's going to be great door prizes and lots of food and fun. We hope, because most of you are MCC alum, that you'll come out Saturday at 1 and then stay for the game at 2 and see these lovely ladies, one of which will be crowned a homecoming queen around 4:30, and then also come back Monday at 10 for the Ivy Skaggs building dedication. So thank you so much for coming. Be safe. Take care of your families. There you go.